Right, so the fun starts here. I had to make myself a cup of tea before I started this. It doesn't seem particularly fitting. Maybe they played as the British. They have a pretty good starting location, but I've been the British and the Americans for practically all of my games. Or, if I've had the choice, I've gone for British and American kind of landscapes. So I thought I'd, leave it open to the fates. Anyway, we're going to attack the mayor now. Because I'm fed up of everybody saying the world's going to end sometime in December 2012 and it's all their fault. God, yeah. Start the battle with extra technology, that's what we got. All their fault. Yes, let's base the end of the world on a ancient civilization. I don't know if ancient's the right word, but certainly an old-fashioned civilization, because of course they must know something that we all don't. Oh, I found it infuriating. So, what I find here is an actual proper battle. Not against barbarians, not like these funny rules and regulations and conquering hordes of enemies. This is actually sort of somebody in exactly the same position as I am, doing more or less the same thing. Apart from this time, there's two of us, 2 against 1. But that one person started with a few extra resources, a couple of extra cities and buildings, because we're attacking his capital province. That was at number 4 on the map. That's your battle strength. And higher the battle strength, the more buildings you start with. Right, zoom out a bit. There we go. Now you move over there. So the good thing about this game, I suppose, is that it gets a bit quiet for the first, I don't know, 10-20 minutes, but then certainly heats up. I'm not going to afford to stone it, so I will do. See, here are the Aztecs. Because their allies are not actually main participants, they start off at a slight disadvantage in that they have to build their initial city first. So they're always going to be a bit weaker, but that's to make it a bit fairer on the Mayans, who have now got to fight 2 people against 1, and the ultimate advantage lies with us, so long as I can keep the Aztecs in the game. Because we get double the resource gathering potential, double the population that we can share, double everything really. It really is a case of 2 against 1. What can you build? What university? Oh yeah, I started with extra research. So you wonder why not building a second city straight away. I want to get a temple in first, because that increases our national boundaries. And the further away a city is, first of all, the more territory in the map that you pick up, and second of all, the greater your sort of trade route yield, because the further a trade route is, and the more developed the city is, the more money you get from it. So it's always a good way of creating wealth. Not that I need to particularly worry about creating wealth, I'm Incan. I mine my wealth, which is very bad from an inflationary point of view. I mean, seriously, it's ruinous to sort of rely on most of your income coming from mining gold without the subsequent increase in goods and services. I've done quite a lot about this. I've recently done about German hyperinflation in the 1920s. A possible seminar. Get a kind of a different result from a government that printed money to pay for everything. Really, it's not a good idea. Anyway, what I was saying, yeah, this is more a case of, funnily enough, the Spanish example, where they just found a load of stole a load of gold and silver from the Aztecs and Incas, And of course, because there was no subsequent increase in goods and services in Europe to take account of the extra bullion, the bullion itself became worth less, because it's simple supply and demand. So I don't sign up to this fact that because you're mining a bit of extra gold, that somehow makes your economy healthier. But then again, this is a game that's supposed to be a bit of fun, rather than macroeconomics. And what do I know about macroeconomics? I'm an economic historian. It's the worst kind, apart from war studies students. Actually, there's nothing wrong with war studies students. They're just a bit misunderstood. But 2 rare resources and a caravan. Huancapampa. Quite nice names. Chuquito. I can't afford it. Never mind. I could do before I built all those merchants. Now silver, this is quite a good one. Gives you 10 gold, 10 iron, and age advancement costs reduced by 15%. That's not as useful here as it is in other. Neither is a cost of unit upgrades, because in your standard game you go through all 8 ages, so you have to upgrade 8 times. But in this, we're only upgrading once from the classical age to the medieval age. If we do that, if we're quick enough, we can just sort of avoid that altogether. Although I doubt we will be quick enough. Woo! Research! I had no idea that'd be quite so be able to research quite so many. Now, see, the Mayans are probably building up an army now. Everybody starts with a little bit of an army. That's the army that's represented on the map, I presume. Oh, I forgot about that. Request a government, but it's not changed it to anything. Military research, barracks units 50% cheaper. No, I quite enjoy the healing benefits that you get from the senator. It saves an awful lot of micromanagement, even if it makes your individual troops less powerful compared to your despotic enemies. Plus, I like being the good guys for once. Actually, no, I've never particularly enjoyed being the good guys. I seem to remember at primary school when we played our little games and such, as you do, based on the movies that you watched when you were far too young to watch them. Because you go around to a friend's house with some lax parents, and you sort of recreate them, and you sort of do various schoolyard ways. And everybody always wants to be the hero and win the day. I always wanted to be the villain. And so my downfall was inevitable, of course, because we followed the Hollywood stereotype. We didn't ask the questions where, in real life, the bad guys probably do or win all the time. We didn't ask those kind of questions because we were 6. But yeah, I always just used to enjoy being the bad guy, and I relished in my diabolical schemes. Some would say I was an odd child. There's a main scout. There was a main scout. I'll always be red for these kind of campaigns. My enemy will always be blue, and my ally will always be pink. Yeah, well. This is just the way it's set up. If you've got more players, your enemy's ally will be green. I don't know where it goes from then, because it gets to a very complicated setup to get more than 4 players in one map. That tends to only happen in Europe anyway. Just because there's so many civilizations packed into so many places. Because despite it trying its best, Rise of Nations is a pretty Eurocentric game. but you know, who can blame it? It's probably where most of the market is. Well, not Eurocentric as such, but Euro and North American centric. I can afford another caravan. Of course, because I can trade with my allies. Of course, trade routes are largely automatic and start a lot earlier than they did in Age of Empires. That one you needed to get to Castle Age, and once you got to the Castle Age, you needed to build a market and find another person's market, and you had to have allies. This one you sort of did it by yourself. Oh, hold on a second. And you just trade between cities. Oh, hi. I just thought this probably isn't enough. But I can give him a run for the money. Let's see, what does this army consist of? Mainly decoys. So this is what I mean, they're pretty weak in and of themselves, so you have to defend them. In fact, I've not built a barracks yet. That's pathetic. But it's well worth defending them because they will help you out no end when it comes to the final push. And now that I've got commerce too, I can buy and sell resources. It's always good to have a couple of barracks because as you soon learn, are they heavy? Oh no, they're light infantry. Excellent. I don't know if does this thing game me sort of slowing the game down? Not really. I'm trying to equalise the advantages that the computer gets from just sort of knowing what to do. It doesn't have to worry about. Controlling every unit. Every unit is basically the computer, so it instinctively knows what to do because it is itself. Oh, they killed my thoughts. I think it killed my other horse as well. Incas are unique because their light infantry is actually a melee unit. I don't know if that's an advantage or not. I wouldn't have thought so. Why don't you get over there and heal the troops? This battle would have gone a lot better had you been there to inspire your people. I suppose some of the blame lies with me. But only some. Let's not get carried away now. Well, if you destroy my supply wagon, I'll not be happy. Cities fall quite easily in this game, particularly small cities like that, which is all we can build at the moment until we get to the medieval age. There we go. This ought to do better because the numbers are a bit more balanced, and these are all light horse, which do well against archers and light infantry. Light infantry do quite well against archers as well. So if you ever need the just the sheer numbers to make the most of the balance. If I bring them over there, you can sort of take the capital down, take the city down to 0 health, but you don't capture it unless you have a numerical superiority. and hopefully we'll be able to thwart them in that goal. In fact, yeah, I'm numerically superior now. Oh, that was on very slow. So they're getting attrition damage because the Aztecs have researched an attrition tech. And the attrition techs do just take a couple of hit points off every couple of seconds, increasing more and more as the game goes on. Right, that's you sorted out. In fact, they work quite well because they're a buffer state. There's one thing I deal quite well with, it's buffer states. Okay. Yes, I'm using the hotkeys. That's how into this game I am. Doesn't mean I'm particularly good at it though. I mean, look at that. All these farms are empty. Oh, I'm at the population limit. I think my scout got killed. Oh, he's in the process of being killed. But we have found Tikal. Funnily enough, you can build a wonder, the Temple of Tikal. That's not particularly funny, is it? It's just a fact. It's one of the wonders of the game, and if you build it, the Temple of Tikal, if you do that actually at Tikal, nothing happens. God, full of good facts, me. That's a granary. You've not got a lumber mill. Then again, these woodcutter camps aren't full, so why should you? And also, you've not got a lumber mill. Yes, you have. In fact, it's over there. This little indicator tells you how efficient, how many sort of people are working each. It's telling me this: I've got 10 farms, 5 people are working on them. So I'm going to go over there. I think, to make sure we draw these up as the battle lines, I'll put a fort over here. Don't worry, I'll pay for it. On the house Aztecs, because I'm the one that will ultimately get the territory. There we go, back onto normal speed now. But my god, doesn't it seem fast? I'm seriously lacking food. Look at this. If I stay near his army, we'll be able to combine forces and always be able to outnumber him. Now, outnumbering is a rather crude way of winning battles, but it's fairly surefire. There's nothing like getting numerical superiority to really give you the upper hand in a conflict. 3, 4, 5. An entire wood industry, food industry, just built up like that. 3, 4, 4. Oh, that reached my commerce cap for gold, which isn't a surprise, because I'm good like that. But this is all you need to worry about on the economy side. You don't need to worry about forests running out and having to find new places to sort of establish these kind of things. Now that these places are set up, they will give me a constant stream of resources, provided they're not attacked. And I think I may need to researching the military tech because I've spending my... Whoa! Oh well, good job harassing them, but you know, there's to waste your own troops in the process. Now, because I'm military too, I can now build a siege workshop, which is something I didn't do in the last game because, well, you don't need them when you're fighting nomads because the siege units primarily deal with destroying buildings. And my fort's up and running. And just to be sure, I'll build all the barracks and a stable when I can afford it, a siege factory and a tower. So even in the most pressing circumstances, as long as I've got the resources and I've got plenty of wealth, so I'll be able to afford that. Even in the most pressing circumstances, I'll be able to get 3 units out simultaneously. Oh, no idea I was so ready for research. Well, this is a rather upbeat tune that I'm just about able to hear. Though I'm pretty sure you can hear it very clearly. You can also hear my voice very clearly, which I'm sure you're thrilled about. So some games are just easier to record than others, and Rise of Nations is a very good game to record. I think it's to do with how new they are. Of course, the recording software is fairly recent, and of course it's designed to record fairly recent games. Give me 3 catapults. Okay, I'm going to get I'm going to get a slight increase in population from 75 to 100. That's going to be immediately taken up with so many build queues. See, he's distracting his phalanx. I can move in here and take out all his archers. Nice supply wagon. Well, he can take out... His archers must be absolutely fantastic. They're supposed to be weak against horses. In fact, why have I got horses to start with? It's the classical age and the Incas. Where am I getting the horses from? They can have the 100 wealth for killing the general, because, let's face it, there's one thing I don't need right now, is wealth. In fact, I do need knowledge. I've only got the 1 university. And nobody told me. Nobody told me, did you? You were just sat there watching me play, thinking, the fool's only built the one, and then the one university. He has no idea what he's doing. I've done the most basic research. You didn't tell me, did you? Just laughing at me. Oh well. There we go, I'm in the medieval age. And what can we do? Nothing yet until we get to military 4. Vassalage. Literacy, I can research literacy. And forage. That decreases the attrition your own units get, and if they stay still in enemy territory, they don't take attrition damage. So, fabo. Oh, scholars are just another drain on your population cap, aren't they? Ugh. Another good way to sort of keep the game, keep the enemy away from your territory. A, having a buffer state is excellent, but not everyone can have a buffer state. For obvious reasons, but to be constantly on the attack, the AI is very sensitive to attack mechanisms. If you launch an attack on them, they will immediately pull away any attacks that they're doing on you to fend you off, which usually turns their armies into a disorganised rabble that are easy to pick off. I researched the printing press and the logging industry. Metal alloys. Oh. So they're very good defensively, the Mayans. So you know, just watch out. He's on military 4 because he's got cataphracts. Which is better than me, so he can field a larger army than I can. But then again, there are 2 of us, so that's not a pressing concern right now. As long as we can coordinate our efforts and not lead our horsemen to a sort of a gory death. Anyway, we've got military 4 now, so we upgrade all our troops. Tell the stables to build a load of cataphracts soon to become knights, because these light horsemen are dying like flies. We're attacking archers. I can also upgrade my catapults to trebuchets and my infantry to their medieval counterparts. I need to just build more troops. Intimacemen and pikemen, because my archers seem to be doing quite well. So the survival rate of my archers is fantastic. My light cavalry are always the first to go, apparently. But this is because of the manner of attack. The archers tend to stay out of the melee combat, unless somebody attacks with a light horse like that. In which case sheer numbers can usually win the day. You carry on firing on that city. I'm sure it's done. Still can fork in because it's done. The siege has been lifted. Of course, the city's not been captured. It's waiting for my troops to come in and actually take the place, which they will do at some point. But in the meantime, so the cavalry branch is quite interesting. Knights can beat light horse beat horse archers, but horse archers can beat knights. This is quite a good tactic because they're just wasting resources, piling them in. And there we go, the first conquest of the game. This means nothing on the strategic map. Nothing will change on the strategic map to actually win this battle as a whole. Which, of course, I'm sure you already knew. And Harguk was pouring in now that all the work's done. He's still in the classical age, and it shows. His units just don't match up. Not only are the stats slightly better for units that are in the age above, but you get an extra sort of 10% bonus just because you're attacking with superior weaponry. So you can see their army is largely just melting away as soon as he builds it. He's also building it one by one. They're coming out of the barracks and just getting slaughtered from far superior numbers. In fact, if I was to be sensible about this, I would press forward with all the attack I could muster and catch him while he's weak. But I'm not sensible. You can see by my economy, it's just, you know, I'm not spending anything. And again, the main expenditure is replacing troop losses, and if they're so superior that I'm not losing any, turn on the infinite queue, I'll just get a constant stream of reinforcements now. Oh, and a few more trebuchets. So, it's not my city now, I've got to wait for it to assimilate into my culture. It's just a period where the land itself remains neutral. You can't build anything, it doesn't give you anything just yet. The borders will expand once that 28 seconds is up. You'll get a nice noise, it sounds a bit like da 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 da, and the city will be mine. And will act to all intents and purposes like I'd built it myself. Which I had done. If I spread the rumour, wildly enough. There's so much research, needs to be done. So I've got there we go. And you see, forts have their own sort of impact on borders, but it's nowhere near as great as that of cities. Particularly cities with a temple, large cities with a temple. Such as that. Oh, here come the trebuchets. You want to stay away from forts because, you know, they primary function is to fire out on troops like that. So we're just gonna. It's good for a delaying tactic building forts because you basically have to stop and have a siege. Meanwhile, they're probably rush building a load of units. That's a term we won't use because it suggests that you can rush build. He's building as many units as he can do to sort of try and keep me at bay. Oh, there's some peacocks there. And if I was sensible, I'd look at the efficiency and say, as a 92% efficiency, I could probably kill a couple of farmers. Sounds a bit bloody, but sometimes it has to be done to... Oh, there's his retaliation. I was wondering where his forces are coming from. So while that siege is going on, I'll destroy his standing army. Attack his horse archers with light horse. Look how quickly they fell. Now you might want to ask, how many cities do I have to capture before I take the place? The answer is either all of them, or Mayans, his capital. And you hold that, and you capture it, and if you hold on to it for a certain amount of time, usually about a couple of minutes, then you win the game. I've got to be careful, stay away from their defences, because look how many arrows they're firing. Okay, you can increase it even more by putting units in, but the Mayans, as a benefit, a sort of national benefit, their towers and cities can fire so many arrows so quickly. Now I've got to sort of try and keep my troops away from the tower, but also try and make sure they don't destroy my trebuchets. Like this. Like that. No matter, you just tell them to build a couple more, which they can't because there's a population limit. Just come on, guys! Get it together. They might have destroyed 3 out of 5 trebuchets. I'm not happy. Well, it's because it's a stalling tactic. They'll still be able to. I'll still be able to win. It'll just take longer. The victory is more or less assured now. But I don't like being made to wait for it, especially when I've got, you know, people waiting and watching me play. Makes me look incompetent. I mean, I am incompetent, but I don't want to look it. And get that supply wagon over there, because these people are suffering from attrition. Oh yeah, another thing, if you're... Where the hell are you going? If your siege units are out in enemy territory and don't have a supply wagon around them, supplying them, they only fire at 1/3 of their usual rate. Right, now it turns from offence to defence as we take the city and then try to hold them off for 1 minute and 59 seconds. Given the size of my army here, that shouldn't be a problem. Because there are just swarms of troops and he's still an age behind. So you can have some pikemen over there and attack my knights And the knights would still put up a good fight. And if you look at just how much territory he's lost, he's only got the one city left, Chichen Itza. You can't build the Chichen Itza. You can build the Temple of Tikal. Chichen Itza is of course a wonder from the in Civilization 4. It gives your cities extra 15% defense. A very defensive technology, much like the Mayans themselves are a defensive civilization. I don't know if they actually were defensive in real life, but that seems to be how they're being portrayed in game terms. And again, what's with all the horses? I guess you could try to make it historically accurate, but there comes a fine line between keeping it historical and keeping it fun for non-historians to play. I guess. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm going to win the game before I actually assimilate this city, but that's okay. I can deal with that. It's sending units around the back there. I don't know why. It all seems a bit futile, really. Why on earth would you try to... that's the barracks he was sending them from. Those two there. He ought to just sort of given it up, or had one desperate last bid. 30 minutes 18 seconds, that's not too bad for a capital one. The average game, I think, from my experience, is about 43 minutes, 45 minutes. They're basically on the back of the box. They promise you the ability to play it in the lunch hour, which I suppose if you had an hour off for lunch and 15 minutes actually eating a lunch, 45 minutes would work quite nicely. 43 is even better because you'd have a couple of minutes to get back to work and at your desk. Anyway, that's what they offer, and to greater or lesser extent, that's what you get. So there we are. I didn't show you last time. You can now examine the map, see what they had left. I knew they only had that left. See what they had and started with. You can see your achievements. These include overall score, in which I was great. Military, units built, units killed, units lost. That's a good ratio, because everything's based around economics in this game. If your unit gets killed, that's a wasted investment. If you kill many units, you're wasting the enemy's investment. And essentially, it's a huge war of attrition. It's who runs out of resources first. I certainly didn't, because if you can see over there, 4,000, 3,000, 3,000, 6,000, 3,000. Maybe I should have spent them. Research, glory, speed, that's more for multiplayer games of course. The computer doesn't have a speed. Still 83 clicks per second. Not that good really in terms of real-time strategy. I've seen people play StarCraft 2 with it goes into the triple digits, like 300. I didn't watch it of my own choice. I went to visit a friend and he made me watch it. It's one of those things they do in South Korea, where they have set up a big stadium and there's crowds of people watching it. I love StarCraft 2 in South Korea. I might love it in North Korea if they have the chance, but I don't know. Just rambling now. That's a military graph, that's always quite useful. Territory graph, resource graph, technology graph. And timeline, this is always quite nice, it tells you what happened. They built a city, I built a city, I built a city, they built a city. There was a battle, I won, there was a battle, they won. There was a battle we both lost, and they lost a battle without anybody winning it. It's kind of buggy this. I founded a city, no, I captured a city, they lost a city, lost a battle, won a battle, lost a city, lost a battle, lost a city. And the purples were just there. To be fair, they were very useful as a... yeah, I didn't actually get anything apart from a card. Oh, and 75 tribute that they've just sort of stored up for me. Nubians captured Ethiopian highlands from the natives. Iroquois captured Yukon from the natives. Huh, I thought they were the natives. Vladimir Lenin of the Russians overran Zarathustra of the Persians at the steppes. The British captured Karelia from the natives, but the Dutch managed to take that off the British. That's over there. The Persians captured the steppes from the Russians, so there's an overrun. The Russians got that, and then they took it back again. Incense. That's alright. Thinking better. Oh, there's more. Turks captured Hejaz from the Egyptians, and the Koreans captured Japan from the Japanese. Huh. Coffee. Is it worth upsetting the Spanish to use the treasury card to go and get it? Probably not. Food economic boom and a supply centre. I can think of better ones. Gypsum. That's one you don't get actually in the game itself. Iron ore. That's some pretty good resources. Gems, they're always quite good. Expand your national borders. Now, I don't know if the Aztecs have seen the writing on the wall of sorts, but they've increased their military strength to 5. And 5, I believe, gives you... There we go, 2 strengths. You get 1 city with the standard buildings, plus 2 lookout towers, a tower, an ordinary tower, a barracks, stable, dock, temple, mine, market. So you're able to attack basically straight away once you get the economy set up. And City 2 gets a lookout tower, an ordinary tower, 3 farms, and a woodcutter's camp. Which is quite a significant increase from just the City 1. Level 6. Level 8 is the maximum, but look, see what you get with it. City 1 has a standard building with 4 lookout towers, 2 towers, barracks, stable, airbase, dock, fort, temple, 2 wells, oil wells, a market, university, granary, senate. Second city gets 3 lookout towers, 2 towers, barracks, stable, temple, 3 farms, woodcutter man. So you can basically have all the resources, all the military applications to basically take you down as soon as you arrive. How do you combat this, you ask? Rare resource income. With all the rare resources you get, so I got diamonds and rum, so every battle I get plus 30 wealth and plus 10 food right at the start of the game when you need it the most. By the time you get to sort of taking out capitals and you've got most of the map, you'll have like plus 50 or 60 of each resource, so you can build up your economy really quickly, just as they've got their economy set up instantly, leading to some pretty huge battles towards the end of the game. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now and let you do something else with your evening, or morning, or afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. If you're watching it in the morning though, really? Have you got anything better to do? And in the next video I shall make up my mind as to what to do next. See you later, guys.